you make it sound accessible. So that's
Well,
that's
that's what I kind of with the book, that was the aim of it. I've just gone through seven mushrooms in the book with photographs, with descriptions of where to find them, how to, and each one has a recipe as well, so that you can then incorporate that in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sharing is Caring. I'm Blue, your AI host, and today we have a truly enlightening session lined up for you. Joining us is the remarkable Juliette Bryant, a nutritionist, superfood alchemist, and author who has just released her latest book, 7 Magical Mushrooms. Juliette will dive deep into the mystical world of mushrooms, sharing her vast knowledge on their nutritional and medicinal values, and even some ancient secrets that have been backed by modern science. In today's episode, Juliette not only discusses the health benefits of mushrooms, but also guides us on how to safely forage and use them in our daily lives. From healing properties to culinary delights, she covers it all, including some personal anecdotes that highlight the transformative power of these natural wonders. Whether you're a seasoned forager or a curious newbie, this episode is packed with insights that will inspire you to explore the great outdoors and harness the power of mushrooms for your well-being. We appreciate your continued support and enthusiasm for our show. If you find today's episode enlightening, don't forget to subscribe and like, and thank you for being such faithful listeners. Now let's delve into the fascinating world of mushrooms with Juliette Bryant.
Hi, Juliet.
I'm very well. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for joining the show, despite all the small challenges we had to face. Thank you so much for hanging on there and being with us today. So,
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
how about you introduce yourself to our listeners?
So, my name is Juliette Bryant. I'm a nutritionist and a superfood alchemist and an author. I've written 3 books, but my latest book is called 7 Magical Mushrooms, and that came out just under a month ago now.
Okay, that's amazing. Congratulations for the launch. It's we will of course put the book reference in the show notes and the link so that people can get to know about your work.
Thank you.
So we aim to bring passionate guests on the show, and obviously you've written 3 books on all the 3 books are on the mushrooms.
So the first book was called Divine Desserts, and it's about how to have healthy desserts that are gluten-free, animal-free, and refined sugar-free. And the second book was called Superfoods and How to Use Them, which is really diving into the superfood world, what plants around us are superfoods, because so many of them are, and then this one's about the mushrooms, the latest one.
Okay, that's yeah, amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to learn more about those topics. Um, as I say, I'm seriously clueless on that, so we really count on you to guide us in this fascinating topic. The only thing I know, as I said, is that mushrooms are not the same as plants, and they diverted like some, I guess, millions of years or some few thousand years ago. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about yeah, the difference between plant and mushrooms?
So in the fungi kingdom, I mean, mushrooms are incredible species, and in the book, what I'm looking at really is exploring the kind of historical use, the scientific evidence that is now backing how these medicinal mushrooms have such incredible nutritional value, but also medicinal value. There's the mushroom kingdom is such a huge kingdom, and obviously there's a lot of poisonous mushrooms out there. So a lot of mushrooms that you don't want to be playing with. But the ones that I mainly explore are known as bracket fungus. So they're hard, woody mushrooms that grow off trees. They look a bit like flying saucers. And in the UK, which is where I am, there are no poisonous bracket fungus. So this makes the exploration into them a lot safer and easier
So,
for people to go into.
okay, so basically, any mushroom I would pick in the UK would be safe to eat.
No, so any bracket fungus. So these are the hard woody ones that grow off
Okay.
trees.
Okay.
So there's thousands that the kind of they look a bit like flying saucers, but there are so many poisonous ones. You've got to be very, very
Okay, that's
careful.
a very good reminder for our listeners. So yeah, don't confuse. So the one that grow up
No,
tree are the one which are mainly all safe in the UK.
hard woody ones that grow off of the trees that kind of look like flying saucers. Those ones in the UK, cross-reference to make sure you know what you're working with. You know, it's always important. I'm assuming it. But when we look at plants and mushrooms, you know, there's so much. And without plants, without our knowledge of foraging, our knowledge of the earth and connecting to what's around us. And what's so incredible is now science is backing up thousands of years of anecdotal evidence so that we can start to go, oh yes, this mushroom is good for the immune system, it's good for the brain, it's, you know, so many of these mushrooms are neuroprotective, so they're good for things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. You know, that there's such a wide knowledge out there now.
That's good to know. Yeah, it's yeah, as you said, it's a kingdom, and it seems very daunting from someone who doesn't know anything, and you make it sound accessible. So that's
Well, that's what I kind of, with the book, that was the aim of it. I've just gone through 7 mushrooms in the book with photographs, with descriptions of where to find them, how to, and each one has a recipe as well, so that you can then incorporate that in. So it's making it very easy for people to get out there, start looking. And some things you can't necessarily find in your environment, but we live in a world now where we can all give tips as well as to what you're looking out for when you're buying them.
amazing. Yeah, sorry, the connection is unstable. I can't do anything. So sometimes there is a delay. And yeah, it's the first time it happens. I never had that. I think it's because of the 2 cams. I changed mine also, and maybe it's because it's high resolution or something like that. So, but yeah, I'll cut that. And apologies if I sound a little bit idle. It's just that I'm waiting for the sound to reach, like now.
No worries at all. No, I realize that.
Um, yeah. So basically, for anyone, you would just it's just enough to go in the countryside with your book and start picking mushrooms.
So as I said, this isn't talking about the ground mushrooms. This is those brackets. So for example, one of the bracket mushrooms I talk about in the book is that looks like the tail of a turkey, and it's this beautiful velvety spray, should we say, of mushroom, and it's and stick them into hot water and make a cup of tea with them. So very easy, you know, that's where I would kind of start with. As long as you're going out at the right time.
Sounds good. And it's a nice way to go outdoor and reconnect and a lot of things. So yeah, it sounds like when you say that, honestly, I'm a bit not scared, but I have a bit of apprehension or yeah, second thought. And but yeah, you seem to be so convinced that yeah, I'm changing my mind. Actually, I'm thinking like I'm really missing out. Like there's so much things to explore, and that's one beautiful thing to explore, especially if you can eat it. Like it's so nice.
Yeah, for me, I got into all of this really when when I had my first child. I mean, I trained as a nutritionist just before I had my first child, who's now 20, and I started to want to be aware of what I was putting. I just started to explore things like calendula, beautiful flower that's a natural antiseptic that you can make into a balm to put on cuts. And so I started to explore this world very slowly and gently. And I came more into it when he had an ear infection. I took him and he was 2.5, and that was his first antibiotics. And then a month later he had this ear infection back, and I went back to the doctor, and she ear. And for me, this set alarm bells off because I knew a lot about the gut, and I thought taking antibiotics kind of every few months is not a good idea.
Yeah, indeed.
I started to look at, well, what can I do? Yeah, what natural remedies can I make for ear infections? So and you simmer garlic in olive oil, and then you strain the garlic out, leave the olive oil to cool, and you drop that into the ear and put some cotton wool in. And I did that when he got his next ear infection. I did it twice, and the ear infection was gone. And I thought, this is much better. This is how I want to live, like actually following these. Um, and so I started to explore more and more. Well, what other things are there that are out there, that these old wives' tales, like chopping an onion, putting it by your bed. So this really began my journey of exploration. And then as my son got older, I would take him out and we'd go foraging. And then my second child was coming, and I that really prompted me to start making videos and start writing articles about how we can empower our health of ourselves and those around us.
No, that's amazing. That's beautiful sharing. That's amazing, and I'm glad we can. That's really kind of the mission of the show, is to share those stories. So yeah, thank you so much for being with us. Um, I'm interested. So you said it was healing effect of calendula that got you in this journey. Um, and would you think in as far as using mushroom for cooking, do you think it's more a question of nutrition, like it has this or that element in the food, or is it more the taste that prompted you to explore mushrooms into cooking?
So, I mean, I've always loved mushrooms as a culinary dish, and I used to run superfood evenings where I'd make like a superfood feast for people, and they were all plant-based. I'm plant-based, and so one of the things that I loved doing, this was like 18 years ago, is I would get some big king scallop mushrooms, and I would chop the stalks and I would marinate them in tamari and garlic and ginger and maple syrup and olive oil, and then I would saute them like scallops, the vegan version of scallops. And I remember serving them, and people were like, oh my gosh, this tastes like a scallop, this is incredible. And that was really exciting for me, how mushrooms have this nutritionally this great substitute for meat, and you can put them in a dish and they have that meatiness that makes you go, oh yeah, this feels good. And so that was kind of probably the first stage. And then it was about 18 years ago that I found someone called David Wolfe, David Avocado Wolfe, and he's like a superfood expert. And I started to listen to his information, and he was talking about mushrooms like these medicinal mushrooms, these bracket fungus. And so I thought, oh, I want to find these. I want to start life. And the benefits health wise was so unbelievable. Now, they're not edible, but they're medicinal. So you have to make things with them. So you have to extract them as opposed to eating them in a culinary dish. Found that they transformed my health and my well-being. When I was 8, my mum got multiple sclerosis, and she went to a professor, and he told no processed food, and into nutrition and into how what we're eating can massively affect the health of our body. And so when I older, jump forward, and I'd trained as a nutritionist, and I'd learned about reishi mushroom and chaga. I had some people who came to me, clients who had multiple sclerosis. So I started really researching, what can I do for multiple sclerosis? What nutritional things can we bring in? And I came across lion's mane mushroom. Now, this is an amazing culinary mushroom, but also medicinal. So you can make beautiful lion's mane steaks, again, sauteing the lion's mane, really lovely dishes with them.
Sounds so good.
But oh my gosh, if you can find lion's mane mushrooms,
I'm extremely clueless.
Steaks,
do they grow in Europe?
So they grow in Europe, but you can find them. A lot of people now grow them and sell them at farmers markets and things like that. So in England, they're on the growing them for people to consume.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, lion sounds so exotic, so I never really dig into that. So yeah, good advice. Duly noted. I knew it was like yeah, it has some health benefits, but I never knew it was also a dish.
Yeah. So the lion's mane's incredible because it's very, very good for cognitive function.
Okay.
It's the brain. So anything that's degrading the brain.
Yes. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Great piece of advice. So yeah, thank you.
No worries.
Also, I'm just bouncing back on something you said before. You said that some mushroom require transformation. Are you yourself doing this kind of transformation? And are they transformation? I understand that some transformation require heavy machinery, but are they transformation that one can do at home? And is that something you explore in your book?
Yeah, so I definitely explore these things in the book, and you can do them from home. Obviously, if you're doing them, so I create mushroom products. I've got a whole range of mushroom products that I sell, with them all grown in the UK. I have a mushroom grower who grows all my mushrooms, processes them for me. But prior So reishi mushrooms, and you can simmer them for 2 hours, and you can extract. What you can do is you can make a tincture. So this is an alcohol extract.
Okay.
You put it in like a big kilner jar, you fill it with the mushrooms, leave it for 6 weeks in the alcohol, and then you strain it. And in the book, I explore how you can do these yourself at home.
Okay, that's you foresee the question. Like it's exactly what I would love to do. Like I think if I get into mushroom, which will happen at some point, I think I would be keen to do as much as possible. So just not just picking them and eating them like raw, but also explore all the things, all the range of possibilities that are there. Okay, that's very good to know. And while we are at that, I don't want to spoil, but maybe can you explain one or two of the 7 magical mushrooms you detail in your book?
And reishi mushroom is known
It's the same
as the mushroom of immortality. So I turn my own off.
Okay, let's try.
So reishi mushroom is the mushroom of immortality. It was revered by the Chinese emperors for thousands of years, and incredible our cognitive function. It helps with depression and anxiety. I mean, it's just a general overall incredible mushroom. I love adding it to my cacao drinks, so lovely chocolate drinks. In fact, I think every one of my products that I make has reishi mushroom in it, so it is an incredible mushroom to use.
Okay, that's yeah. This is only not the only one, but I've heard of that one. I thought it was crazy expensive.
So it is expensive, but the thing about it is you don't need to use a lot of it. So because it has to be extracted, so ideally when you're working with reishi, you want a dual extraction. So this means you want the alcohol extraction and the heat extraction. And obviously when you're doing those, when someone else is doing those, it can be expensive, but for example, I have a mushroom tincture that I make, and it's got a mixture of reishi, chaga, lion's mane, cordyceps, and turkey tails. So these 5 medicinal mushrooms, and that mushroom tincture, you take 5 drops a day. So the bottle, 30 ml bottle, lasts you 4 to 5 months. So even though it seems expensive when you buy it, it's got a long life to it. You only need small amounts.
Okay, that's good to know. And anyway, health has no price, so yeah.
Exactly.
If that makes you feel amazingly better, I think any price is worth it.
And there's no negative side effects.
Nice.
You have to take something else because you've got a side effect. Modern medicine, you take something for a symptom, and then you have to pills, whereas these things don't have those side effects. So you're taking them, and they're supporting your body, they're supporting your mind, your emotional health, your mental health, and your physical health. So incredible for the body. And I've got so many stories, and they start changing their diet and taking the mushrooms and have transformations that are just incredible.
Okay, that's amazing. You talked about multiple sclerosis before.
Yeah.
I know it's not a medical show and you're not a doctor and there's no medical advice on that show. I prefer to say that to tell that to everyone listening.
Definitely.
To this show. But maybe can you share some inspiring story of people who managed to recover or to improve their health through the use of mushrooms?
Yeah, so I've had a few people now. They've changed their diet, so they've switched to a plant-based diet. They've cut out refined sugars, cut out processed food. Overcome cancer. So that's I've worked with quite a few people now, and that's an incredible thing when that happens. Cancer and want to support their bodies through the treatment, and have brought in mushrooms. In Japan and China, when they do chemotherapy, they give turkey tail mushrooms alongside people who are using these mushrooms alongside allopathic treatment.
Okay.
Another person had a brain injury and was really struggling with his cognitive function and his medicinal mushrooms on tincture, and he said within a week he could really feel clarity of his mind happening, and his speech improved, huge improvements on all the markers. So that's really amazing.
Amazing story. Yeah, that's yeah, I know these kind of things work, but somehow yeah, people need to be very careful also in giving advice. I think the approach you described, the one used in China, seems like the one I would subscribe to, like a mix of modern and tradition. So yeah, it's I know, yeah, they do work. Many things work, but yeah, one needs to be careful when when giving advice, etc. You're a professional nutritionist, so I guess you're entitled to give advice, but I'm not. So yeah, I'm just careful.
No, for sure. You totally have to be careful. And I think one of the things that's so important is that people do their own research and they make their own choices. But, when doing the research all of it. Research what are the natural things? What are the pharmaceutical things? Where is there a crossover? Where do I feel, what feels right for you? Because I think that is the most important thing, that you follow what feels right for you after doing the research and listening to different people talking about subjects.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think feeling is often left out of the of the conversation, and yeah, it's good to bring back those fundamentals. If it feels right, it's a good start. So yeah, definitely agree on that. Um, since it's a topic that you've explored for a couple of years, why did you think the retail or hello?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay. Why do you think that uh, the um, the retail sector never really picked up on mushroom? Like you can find tons, not tons, but you can find vegetables. You can find, depending on the country where you are. In Switzerland, for instance, you can find a lot of chocolates in any supermarket, but you rarely find a nail full of mushrooms. Why is it that? Why do you think it never happened that retail picked up on mushroom?
Well, over in the UK, the retail market for mushrooms is now really beginning to explode. So
Oh,
mushrooms are becoming quite a buzzword. So they haven't been, but now they really are. So it's going to trickle through everywhere. You know, the common mushrooms, but also the mushrooms are really, I've been working with mushrooms, as I said, for over 15 years. And when I used to go to events with my mushroom products, people were like, "Oh, what are these, the magic ones?" And it was like, no, there's lots of other mushrooms out there. And people didn't have the knowledge. Now I go to events and I show up with my mushroom. You go to most farmers markets and you'll have a mushroom grower with a wider range of exotic mushrooms, lion's mane, shiitake, maitake, mushrooms like this, which all have amazing medicinal benefits. So I think that explosion is beginning now.
that's good to know. I hope it's not just a trend. Like, yeah, I hope so. Like, it's really our mission, and we would love to be right on that. I think there's so much value in in mushrooms. So many species, so many things we have no clue about. So, yeah, if it's an emerging trend in the UK, I hope it stays like that. And yeah, it's amazing, especially that you can pick them up yourself, and that's a very good outdoor activity as well.
And connecting into nature more is so important. Even if we're not picking the mushrooms and we're just going out and looking at them and photographing them, that connection to nature is so important. It's important for our well-being in so many ways. Getting outside is key.
Yes, I 100% agree. It's a lost connection. I keep saying that on not every show, but like, yeah, it's something. It's a conclusion we often reach with our guests. So, yeah, I'm glad that you are saying that. You're saying that as well. So that's very nice. Um, okay, so now it's a question that we ask all the guests on the show. What kind of food?
Yeah,
What, hmm?
I think we had a delay. Sorry, I was saying, the key to all of my work and the key to what I do is this earth connection, getting people outside, getting people reconnected, whether it's through food, whether it's through energetics, whether it's through meditation. This connection is so important.
Definitely agree. Definitely agree. Other than mushrooms, are there other ways that you would recommend for people to explore to reconnect?
Yeah, so I'm actually running in a few days a free 3-day Earth Wisdom experience, which is an online event where people can connect into the earth through, we're looking at healing, we're looking at manifestation and transformation. So working with the earth, with the different tools that the earth gives us, whether it's crystals, whether it's plants, whether it's mushrooms, whether it's trees, whether it's grounding and, you know, putting your feet on the earth. There are lots of different ways that we can connect. And so I'm going to be exploring that. So people can sign up on my website, which is julietteBryant.com, to be able to access that. And you can access the recording afterwards as well.
Okay, sounds good. We'll put everything in the show notes. You said it's this weekend?
It's, yeah, a Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay.
But as I said, the recording, there'll be the recording of it as well, which people can experience after the fact.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying that because logistically the podcast won't release before this weekend.
Yeah.
My sincere apologies.
No, it's fine.
But we will definitely put the link to your website so that you can get the recording. That's amazing. So you have a very, you're not limiting yourself to mushrooms. You're also exploring many other ways.
Exactly.
And when it comes to food, what would be next to mushroom? If we may put mushroom in one category, what would you say are next that everybody should try or have or ingest or drink?
There's so many things. I mean, I love so many plants. As I said, I'm plant-based. I think probably cacao, chocolate in its raw form would have to be up there because cacao and mushrooms go together very, very beautifully. And when you make, you know, like a ceremonial cacao and you have it without the refined sugar, without the dairy, and you're having the proper stuff, it's incredible. You know, it's got so many amazing properties of heart opening, you know, amazing thing.
Amazing. So that's another point on which we are fully aligned. Cacao is my favorite thing. Yeah, I keep saying I'm a chocolate lover, but I think in fact I'm a cacao lover. So
amazing. Well, when you add the mushrooms to the cacao, like reishi mushroom, it just takes the cacao to a whole nother level.
Okay, sounds yeah. That's I've never tried, but yeah. If you have a recipe or in your book, cacao and mushroom.
I do. I have a recipe for a cacao and chocolate. Yeah, cacao and mushroom recipe in there. So
amazing. Okay, so yeah, sounds really good. So we'll point our listeners to your book, and they can,
amazing.
Including myself. I'm keen to do that. Cool stuff. So we arrived to a question we ask all the guests on the show. What is your favorite dish?
Mm-hmm. Oh, my favorite dish. I mean, I spent about 3.5 years in India, and so I do love a beautiful vegetable curry. I always love that. Other than that, I would say a lovely. I'm gluten free as well, so I love to have. I'm part Italian, so I do love a nice vegan spaghetti bolognese using lentils and mushrooms and carrots and lots of vegetables. So I'd say a good veggie curry or a good veggie spaghetti bolognese would be my favorites.
Okay, you seem to have so many recipes in your book. We do share, I have to say, you may not know that, but on our socials, we share a lot of recipe. So we have a community of many people and they share recipe with us so that we have recipe, you know, from normal people and from all around the world. Would you be interested to share a recipe with us?
Definitely. I will definitely share some recipes with you guys. No problem.
Thank you so much. Okay. That's, I hope our community will love it. But I'm sure, they will. And if they want more, they can go to your book in any case.
Amazing.
Okay. So the last question is any advice for our listeners?
Any advice for your listeners? Yeah, get outside, get your feet on the earth, and go and go for a walk and look around you and actually pay attention to what you can see. You know, don't go on your phone, don't look, you know, but look actually at nature. What is actually on your doorstep? What's outside your door? What plants are growing around you? What flowers maybe are out? You know, what is happening in nature? Get connected to what's around you. It's so important. They say some of our best medicine is literally on our doorstep.
Amazing. That's a beautiful advice, and thank you so much for all the knowledge you shared on this episode. That was priceless.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Juliette Bryant, author of the 7 Magical Mushrooms. All the details will be in the show notes. So thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Sharing is Caring. It's been an absolute delight exploring the enchanting world of mushrooms with Juliette Bryant. We've learned not only about their profound health benefits, but also how to integrate these natural gems into our diets and daily routines. Juliette's insights into the safe foraging and medicinal uses of mushrooms, like the bracket fungus and lion's mane, are truly invaluable. We hope you found this episode as fascinating as we did. If you're inspired to explore the natural world around you and try some mushroom foraging or cooking, remember to check out Juliette's book, 7 Magical Mushrooms, for guidance and recipes. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and leave a comment with your thoughts or any experiences you've had with mushrooms. Your engagement helps us grow and continue to bring you content that sparks curiosity and caring. Until next time, keep sharing and caring.